So to wrap up this episode, here are 5 tips for finding teachers, mentors, and guides. I'm reading, sorry. On your quest towards self-actualization. Okay. So number 1 is to be open to new experiences and opportunities, which is what we were talking about earlier, is being, I think sometimes we're not even aware that we're being open, but people come into your life and you're just like, oh, okay. You know, and you kind of resonate with that person, or you just, I don't know, you just get along with that person. You just mesh, right?
Yeah. And you got to be open to the possibilities of what's out there, because you never know what you could learn from people. And you should always be open to be learning from people. You know,
is that being too philosophical when you're thinking about every single thing that somebody's talking to you about and then thinking what you can learn from it? Or is there an easy way to do that? Just
it's you could do it in 2 ways, right? You could be formal about it and say, okay, we're going to establish this relationship as a mentor, mentee, you know, a teacher, right? Well, you could establish those formal relationships, and you set parameters and all that type of stuff, right? That's one way to do it. That's one way that I've done it, right? And it's worked for me. There's other ways that just happen organically, and when that happens organically, it's like you have to set kind of like the relationship boundaries as to how that goes, you know. So
I think we both experienced that, because we both have had people in our lives where it was just like, you just come away from that going, wow, just mind blown. Yeah.
But it's also like how you know, setting the boundaries of what those relationships will be. There are things that are formal, right? You know, and there are things that are informal.
But that's what I'm saying. The informal part speaks to number 1 here.
Correct.
Because you want to be able to be open. So when you go into a situation that is informal and you're just having dinner, or you're just having coffee, or just whatever, but you walk away with, oh my God, you know, I learned something today.
Of course.
That's being open to new opportunities.
Being open to new opportunities. Correct. Yes.
So number 2, seek out individuals who inspire you.
Yes. Living or dead. You know, I'm always like, I'm not a very, I have a hard, let me rephrase those things, right? I'm always cautious. I'm always I'm very introverted. So I could communicate. I'm very good at communicating with people and having conversations, you know, but there's very few people that I really let inside of my world, my internal world. Very few. And it's just by choice, because I just feel more confident. I'm more comfortable with that, right? So, but I have seeked out individuals for assistance, for help. You know, I have a life coach right now. I have a person that is helping me out tremendously. But you know, you seek out those individuals that again, it's like you look at them and say, wow, I like that person. I like what they have to say. I like how they speak. I like
be
what
around
they're
that
saying.
person.
I want to learn more from that person.
Yeah.
You know, and I've seeked out. And I seek that out, you know. But you should look out for someone that's really in your field, in whatever it is that you're deciding to do. That has that. Now, you're never able to know 100% everything about an individual, but there are aspects of them that you want to know more about, and that's the opportunity to do so.
Yeah, so that's good, because you leads right into number 3, which is look for those who have been where you are now.
Yes.
Yeah. So people who've been down the same or similar paths or experienced similar things that you have is what you're talking about.
It's like I never asked a relationship about from single people.
Like that's a saying.
Why would I do
marriage
that?
advice from a single person?
I'm like, it's just to me, that's kind of silly, because I never done it, you know. And I also, you know, when I'm observant of relationships, you know, and I see kind of like certain things, like, I'm not gonna ask that. I used to have relationship advice from Miss Barbara.
Oh yeah,
you know, because she was married. I mean, you know, so it's like, but
we both did.
Yeah, there's very few people that I will ask about my relationship advice, my relationship. I don't really do that, because they don't understand the scope of what it is to be with someone for a long period of time, the ins and outs of it, the sacrifices.
I think it's interesting that you're saying that, because it's now at one point we asked those questions of certain people, right? Like Miss Barbara, you know, my relationship with you, we weren't married when I first met her. And then now 21 years later this year, like, we're the ones that are playing that role of
to other people.
Other people, yeah. Because I've had people all the time, they'll say, how do you guys do it? You know, or they see us on camera and they think, wow, you guys are so, you know, dynamic and just great on camera. And the truth is that we're good off of camera too. We're just more obviously
a little bit more, trying to be a little bit more professional or a little bit more trying.
I
say that.
Not really.
Loosely. Yeah,
Asked very loosely after what you said today. You're not editing out.
But, you know, but then there's something else too when it comes to that is the fact that it's like me personally, I'm very picky, right? When it comes to people.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of people that give a lot of lip service.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. But they don't live it. And I'm like, I've learned that in the past because there's people that they talk the great talk, but when it comes
they're not
to
walking
it, when it comes to it, when you see their actions and you see their behaviors, they might be successful and they might have all that, but when you start peeling in the layers and looking underneath the rug, then you start seeing all the dirt, and it's like, so you gotta be cautious too.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. Number 4, join groups and organizations related to your interests.
Yeah. Now, this is for an extrovert. I always have a hard time with this one because I'm just.
We're both very introverted, so it's hard for us to do this,
and then again, it's like...
but it's a good thing. It's something, if you're able to do it, I think it's a great idea.
And I do it. I mean, I do it. And what I mean by introversion really is that it just takes me a long time to recoup afterwards. But I could definitely do it, you know.
I think I'm on the other side. It's hard for me to get into these groups.
So it's like, but those things are very helpful because, again, when you are in a group setting, you are gaining knowledge, you're gaining information, you're gaining perspectives, right?
And
more
you're
than
going
anything,
back to number 1, being open to new, open and having new experiences.
Exactly, and you're becoming open to new experiences. So, but you have to find your level of comfort when it comes to all those different things, right? You have to find your level of comfort, how much you're willing to share, you know, because I've been in situations in which I felt like, well, I got to do this, so I'm going to share everything, and that's not appropriate. It's not appropriate because if you're too open sometimes, like you got to mitigate your level of vulnerability, how vulnerable you're willing to be in under certain situations. Yeah. You know, so
there's a time to share certain things. There's a time to
precisely
share. You got to have that balance. I got you. Okay. And finally, number 5, ask for recommendations. What do we mean by that?
Well, ask people about, hey, you know, I'm looking for someone that could help me with this.
Okay, so speaking of vulnerability again.
Yeah, speaking of vulnerability, somebody that you trust, you know, somebody that you know that you're feeling comfortable with, exchanging stuff.
So you have to trust the person that you're asking for recommendations from?
Yeah, you have to trust the person. You also have to ask, you have to allow yourself to put yourself out there if you want to be able to transform a certain aspect, you know. So you could go out and learn something, right? Traditional settings. There's so much information out there. So much. Yeah. And you know, and a lot of the times the struggle that we face is the organization of that information. And that's kind of like where mentors and guides come in. You know, because the information is out there and most of it is free. Right? It's how do you organize that information so that it makes sense to you and you could actually begin to evolve and transform in your life. You know, that's when the roles is. That's when when you might actually need that extra assistance to be able to help you formulate, to clarify, you know, your goals, your values, your life's mission, what you would like your life's purpose to be, you know, what those individuals are able to help you accomplish and clarify. So as you continue on your quest.